Hi, I want to talk to you today about 5 major mistakes that we see people do when they're trying to learn Iaido. This may be because Iaido is just difficult. It could be because they don't have a great teacher, or it could be that they just haven't practiced enough, and little by little, people who learn these skills will be able to implement them, and after a while build them into a reflex set that makes them very strong, very balanced, and very good at the martial art known as Iaido. The first mistake we see is people not aligning their feet properly, particularly the back foot. I don't know, hopefully you can see from where you are that the feet should be parallel, lined up with the line of the cut. And what we see most often is that the back foot gets lost and turns in a little bit. This not only opens the hip up, but it puts the back heel in a position where it can't generate appropriate power. I don't know if you've ever lifted weights, but you may have noticed that the strongest muscles in the human body are the calf muscles. You want to align those muscles to get the maximum benefit so that they appropriately create structure so you can develop power, balance, and form when you cut. So if that back foot is turned in, instead of straight being aligned with the cut, you get all sorts of artifacts. I showed you the legs. What happens upstairs is the hips tend to be open, the shoulders a little bit back, and it's almost impossible to get a nice clean cut when the back foot is misaligned. When the back foot is parallel with the line of the cut as well as the front leg, it's much easier to develop a strong linear cut that tracks with the structure of the skeleton. So that's point number 1. Feet should be parallel, and except for angled cuts, the back foot should be aligned with the line of the cut. The second mistake we see people make is failing to stay in contact with the ground. This involves 2 things: a good base and sliding the foot along the ground as it moves back. So here's an example. We see people moving from feet together into a extended stance, and they typically will do something like this. That's kind of a falling into the stance and a lowering of the body. In fact, what's desirable is to be low already, and instead of falling, is to push back. It's to maintain the contact with the ground as you move back. So the foot slides. Again, the feet are parallel, and the foot slides, and you maintain that structure as well as you are able to stay low on the same level that you end up in when you've taken that sliding step. Another mistake we see people make is handling the scabbard. People tend not to handle the scabbard very well in 2 ways, particularly on the draw. 1, they don't grab far enough up on the scabbard. As a result, the scabbard and the sword have no nerve endings, have no ability to understand the relationship between one another. And then 2, what they don't do is they don't pull that scabbard back. So if you see people doing Iaido and they draw, you hear a scraping sound at the end, the scabbard sticks out. It's very hard to get that sword out effectively when there's a lot of space between the hand, the end of the scabbard, right, and the scabbard's not being pulled back. What we want to do instead is completely enclose the end with our hand, pull that scabbard back strongly. That's called sayabiki, right, pulling the scabbard back. And that helps to create the thing called sayabanare, separation from the scabbard and the sword. So the hand completely envelops the end of the saya, stays down, pulls, and then the 2 parts, the sword and the scabbard, are separated very effectively. Once the sword's out, the primary place we see mistakes is in the grip, the tenouchi. The hand should be over the top of the handle in tenouchi. And often what happens is people, particularly with their left hand, starts to come to the side of the bottom of the handle. And what you get then is a tendency to lose it at the bottom of the cut. Instead, for proper tenouchi, the hand should be over the top with a long extended grip, almost as though you're pointing your fingers, right? And the power's in the left hand, so that hand finishes very strongly, and there's skeletal power that brings that sword to a stop at the end. That's how you extend, and that's how you stop it. The cuts should be very clean, stop strongly, and that's because, again, power's in the left hand, and the skeleton controls. When the hand's off, the skeleton can't control. You get a lot more whip in the sword. And although that may be appropriate in a sport like kendo, in Iaido, you want to use structure, your skeleton, to make strength and efficiency in that cut. And then one more area I want to talk about today is putting the sword away. Just as we said on the draw, the hand should completely envelop the end of the scabbard, called koiguchi, right? it should do so again when the sword is being put away at the end. It should completely envelop the scabbard. The scabbard should be pulled back. And then here's a big mistake people make unconsciously, especially when they're using an Iaido or something that's not sharp, is as soon as they start putting that away, whoop, that thumb comes up. I don't know if you can see from there, but having your thumb riding on the top of a 3-foot razor blade is really a poor idea. What should happen is when you make koiguchi here at the top, the thumb touches the finger, and the thumb should stay connected to that finger throughout the entire noto, or putting the sword away, until it's completely safe to bring up at the end and to control the tsuba. So I hope those 5 points that we see people make mistakes on help you move toward better Iaido. If you have any questions about those things, feel free to contact us at info@JapaneseMartialArtsCenter.com. We love the martial arts and we love teaching the martial arts. We'd love to see you down here. Feel free to stop in for a visit or contact us anytime you want more information.